Should you do it? What? Well, in this episode, we are going to address COVID-19 401k no penalty withdrawal. How to take advantage. You're going to understand some things that maybe you didn't consider before, so put your seatbelt on. I'm Doug Andrew, and I'm here in my radio studio. I've created a radio show every single week now for more than 11 years. I've created a lot of TV shows for education. I've spoken over 85,000 hours in my life to live audiences, and I've been very blessed to author 11 books. Many times as a financial strategist and a tax minimization specialist, I've helped people get answers to questions, and this YouTube channel is exactly that. So subscribers to this channel, we usually type in questions, and so I answer one every single day. Lately, because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, it reminds me that many times when we have opportunities that come because of external forces and influences that are out of our control, this creates opportunities. And I've learned that when there's anxiety, there's opportunity. So right now, as I'm recording this, amid the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic outbreak, people have had hardships because many times employers could not keep their employees in a restaurant or a small business. Some could work at home, but many people at record-breaking rates were applying for unemployment, or they were scrambling to make ends meet because they weren't earning income. Many businesses took out PPP loans, the payroll protection plan loans, in order to meet payroll and so forth, because the government realized it was cheaper to do that for businesses to keep employees going than to pay out the unemployment benefits. And so one of the big benefits of the administration, the government during COVID-19 was forgiving a 10% penalty if you accessed money out of a tax-deferred IRA or 401k. Because traditionally, if you tap into your IRA or 401k funds or other qualified plans like 457s and 403bs and so forth, if you touched those and took out money before age 59 and a half, there was a 10% penalty on top of the tax. So if you had to pay tax of 25% or 33%, instead of 33, you paid 43. It was like a 10% penalty or 10% tax. Having said that, I've actually helped many people determine when it's wise to pull out money, generally after age 59 and a half, when there's no longer a penalty. But actually, I've helped many people pull out money before age 59 and a half and offset the tax, including the penalty. But now is a golden opportunity to access money if you're under age 59 and a half and not have to pay that extra 10%, because you're not saving tax by putting it off. Hello? You're continuing to delay the inevitable if you postpone and wait until you retire. So this is the golden opportunity for you to consider a strategic rollout, not a rollover. A rollover is like going from the frying pan into the fire, so to speak. It's taking money out of a 401k, let's say, and rolling it over to an IRA. No, you're just continuing to delay the inevitable. What I have counseled many people to do is, no, you want to roll the money out. Get the money out of those IRAs or 401ks at a lower tax rate. And by eliminating the penalty of 10%, the no penalty withdrawal, that's like lowering the tax rate by 10%. Frankly, your current tax rate, your current tax bracket, is likely the lowest bracket you will ever be in, because most Americans believe that future tax rates will likely be higher. So why do we want to postpone paying tax on a tax-deferred IRA or 401k and let the account continue to grow tax-deferred to some future perceived unknown advantage, and then withdraw our money down the road when we're convinced taxes will likely be higher in the future? That sounds really stupid when I word it that way, right? And so you think, well, when can I access my money? I don't want to be penalized 10%. Here's your chance. You don't have to pay a 10% penalty. Now, you may want to get the taxes over and done with, and that's why many people decide to convert to a Roth. Well, if you do that, if you roll over to a Roth, you are paying tax. You're getting the taxes over and done with, but now your money's going to accumulate tax-free from now on, and later on you can access your money tax-free. A Roth might be smart, but my favorite vehicle is a max-funded IUL, Indexed Universal Life Insurance Contract. It's what I affectionately call the laser fund. I've averaged 10% for the last 25 years, 10.07% to be exact. For the last 45 years, I've averaged 8.2%. That means every million that I accumulate in my laser fund generates $80,000 to $100,000 a year of tax-free income every year into perpetuity when I retire. And I've yet to see an IRA or 401k around that will do that. Most of the time, if your money's in an IRA or 401k, especially in the market, you're restricted or told to only take out 4%. It's called the 4% rule because the average American only really earns 3.5% with their money in the market because they're buying and selling at the wrong times. And so Dalbar says if they're only going to earn 3.5%, only let them take out 4%. It will slowly deplete their retirement nest egg, but not before their LE. That means life expectancy. Well, I would rather have $1 million nest egg generating $80,000 to $100,000 a year of tax-free income instead of $40,000 a year of taxable income out of an IRA or 401k. And so people say, well, how can I get my money out? Well, you can't roll it over. You want to roll it out just like if you were to convert to a Roth. You're going to pay the tax. But if you can do that without a 10% penalty, oh my heavens, this is golden. Plus, at your current tax rate, instead of thinking future tax rates are going to be lower, this would behoove you to seize this opportunity in probably over 90% of the cases that I've looked at since this was offered. And so you want to get the money out of those IRAs or 401ks, not pay 10% penalty, but if you have to pay tax, pay it at today's lower rates. I'm going to share with you why, the math behind this, because you want to get the taxes over and done with at the lower rates without a penalty and the lower values, and then reposition that after-tax money into something that's going to be tax-free from now on. And that would be the laser fund if it was my money, and I'll explain why. The biggest takeaway here is you want to seize the opportunity to pay 10% less in tax because the penalty is really just a 10% tax. So immediately you're getting rid of that. Now, during setbacks where the government erases or eliminates the penalty, at least temporarily, it's usually because your income is less and so you need the money. So when would you rather pay tax? When your income is high or when your income is low? See, you want to get the taxes over and done with in the years where your income is lower. But see, your current tax bracket is likely the lowest bracket you will ever be in because most people agree that future taxes are going to be higher. Even the General Accountability Office, the Congressional Budget Office, has estimated for several years that tax rates will likely have to go from 33% combined between federal and state up to 50, 60, 70% if certain initiatives that seem to be popular with about half of Americans. What kind of initiatives? Medicare for all. That's not free. That's going to cost $90 trillion plus dollars. Or free college or forgiveness of student loans. That's going to cost about $90 trillion. Hello? The IRS only collects about $3.5–4 trillion a year in tax, and they want to give out $90 trillion of benefits. Where are they going to get the money? See, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, says taxes are going to have to go up to 60 or 70% to be able to come up with even close to the amount of money they're going to need to have those kind of initiatives paid for. But even without those, the government, through this stimulus of giving these loans and giving people money, it amounts to about twice as much as the IRS collects in taxes in an entire year. So what does that tell you? The only way they're going to recoup that money is by stimulating the economy and taxing people. So let me give you a simple example. Let's say at the peak of the market, this would be like February of the year 2020, your account values were $900,000. And many Americans saw that dwindle down to 600,000 in 30 days, mid-March of 2020. The S&P dropped 34%. Now, even though a month after that it came back up, they still were down 20%. Would you rather pay tax on 900,000 or pay tax on 600,000? In a 33% bracket, tax on 900,000 is $300,000. On 600,000, it's only 200,000. Would you rather pay 200,000 in tax or 300,000? Okay. But most people, they hunker down. They get paralyzed and they wait to get back up to the 900,000. Well, there's really no difference. If it goes back up to 900 and you pay tax of a third of 300, you net 600. If you paid tax on 600,000 and that's a third, that's 200,000, you only have a net of 400. If the market rebounds now back up, you'll have 600,000. But if you did it in a tax-free vehicle, not in your IRAs or 401ks, you would have a tax-free 600,000. What's the difference? Well, if taxes go up to 50%, which it looks like they will, now if you left it in the IRA or 401k and didn't take the no penalty withdrawal, you would be back up to 900,000 in maybe a year, maybe 4 years. Many times after 2003, when the market dropped for 3 years in a row, it took 4 years to come back to the break-even point. In 2008, when it dropped 40%, it took 4 years till 2012 to come back. Let's say you got back up to 900,000 sometime within 4 years, and now taxes are at 50%. What's 50% of 900? 450,000. Your net is only 450. So would you rather have 450,000 net to buy gas and groceries with in retirement, or would you rather have 600,000 tax-free because you got taxes over and done with during a no penalty era at 200,000 and you were able to ride the market back up again tax-free? And not only that, when the market dives again, which it always does, you're protected from loss next go around because it's in indexing with an indexed universal life. If you don't understand the power behind indexing, in a nutshell, it's where you are able to participate in the upside of the market without the risk because your money's not in the market. So if the market crashes, you don't lose. On this YouTube channel, many subscribers get answers to in-depth questions and the answers to those in-depth on how indexed universal life works and why it's the superior vehicle, in my opinion, to an IRA or 401k. So the bottom line, I would seize this opportunity to have the no penalty withdrawal and to be able to take advantage of it now. And I'm going to show you, if you are intrigued with this, how you can get better educated by getting a free copy of my most recent book. So if this intrigues you and you would like to learn more, this is my 11th book. It's called The Laser Fund, 2 books in one. This is the left brain side. This is the right brain side. This has stories and examples, 62 of them, actual client stories. This is the left brain side, all of the charts and graphs and explanations, 300 pages. Now, I will buy the book. It's free to you as a gift. You go to laserfund.com and pay $5.95 shipping and handling. I'll fire out a copy of the book to you. You'll also have the option to get the audio version, the digital version, video classes. If you want to dive deep into where you can accumulate your money tax-free and later access your money tax-free, and why the Laser Fund knocks the socks off of a Roth with 4 additional benefits that Roths do not have.